LCSC students of history, I am Professor Eric Martin, and if you were watching this video, surely you were enrolled in one of my classes. I hope everything is going well, but I thought I would take a few moments to have a bit of an unscripted chit chat with you about the use of AI in my classes. And unscripted because I want to do this kind of as if I was talking to you guys in a class without making it, a 30-minute video or whatever. But let me tell you a problem I'm having, which translates into a problem you have, so that we can figure out how to resolve it. Over the last couple of years, the use of AI, I'm thinking about things like ChatGPT, have just gone off the hook for better or for worse. And mostly for worse. And if you want to know about the for better part, you can take my History 200 course where I work with students to try to actually learn how to use it. But you got to have to be kind of the commander, right? What I see a lot in my online classes in particular are folks who didn't read, typing in to Chat GPT the name of a document or something, and then cutting and pasting that into the discussion boards. And the deal is, man, you ain't fooling nobody. I've been teaching at LCSC for almost 25 years. I have a pretty good idea about what freshman writing at LCSC looks like. And I have a pretty good idea about what AI writing looks like. And I've got my own little detectors. So don't do it. Okay? That's thing number one. Because the big mission to me for you guys is I want you to read about history and I want you to talk about history. And if you can convince me that you have done the readings and you're talking with each other, then you give me some leeway with what may or may not happen with the exam scores, right? Now here's the other, and so that's part one of the unscripted part. Don't use AI. Now I know some of you guys, use Grammarly or something like that, to try to clean up your writing, and that's admirable. But sometimes I think y'all are more concerned about trying to make yourselves sound smarter than you are. I don't mean that, the way it sounded. but I do mean that, sometimes we're looking for fancy words or whatever. I'm not worried about that. Did you convince me that you read? So clean it up, use proper commas, but don't write something up and pump it into AI and ask it to make you sound like a brainiac. All right? Because all it's going to do is make me wonder if you read. Okay, so that's the first part of the AI story. What has happened over the last couple of years is that the AI issue has become so rampant in this particular class that I've gone to using testing centers to take the exams. So not too many years ago, I just put you guys on a timer. The exams are not open book, but they are open note. You show up with as many handwritten notes on that stuff as you want. You're free to use them. I used to just do that on a timer. You could do it at home. I kind of figured, there's no way that if you didn't read, you could answer all that within an hour. But I started seeing some odd things, right? Where people are finishing exams in like 10 minutes with a bunch of, suspect scores compared to what I was seeing in the discussion posts. So I went to the testing centers, right? Started using testing centers. So here's what happens, right? Or what has happened. I wind up with the last couple of years, I wound up with a lot of like fantastic discussion posts. Oh my gosh, I thought you guys might be colleagues of mine. They were so good because AI was writing them, right? And nobody had any notes. And you went to the testing center to take the exam and you bombed it. And I don't mean just bombed it a little bit. I mean like bombed it. It was nuts. So we want to do something about that, right? I don't want to have you guys in a, because the thing is, I want to be in a spot to where if you don't do that great on an exam, and when I say don't do that great, I don't mean a 20, right? You don't do that great on an exam, 75. But in the discussion boards, you are clearly reading, you understand the material, you got notes. I want to be able to work with you, right? So this is less like giving a solution, because if I had the solution to this issue, I'd be rich, right? Because every, professor across the country is facing this deal. I'm just telling you guys the problem. The problem is that ChatGPT writing your discussion post isn't doing you any favors, because when you show up to the testing center, it's not going to help. And so if I suspected you were using ChatGPT on the discussion boards, and then it turns out, you can't get better than a 30 on the exam, right? So I want us to work on that, because I want you guys to be successful, and I want you to really enjoy history. So you guys use your own words. Use your own words. Write these posts yourself. Do the readings. The point of the discussion is not to be right. The point of the discussion is, I read the document. I understand this part about it. These other parts I don't know. And somebody else chimes in, because I'm trying to recreate that atmosphere in a classroom where we have a discussion about the documents, and the professor can get an idea about who read, who didn't read, and we can move on. That's history's a reading sport, so that's how we do it. So this is a bit of a plea, right? Stay away from ChatGPT. Stay away from AI. Writing your posts, cleaning your posts up. Do it yourself. All right. I don't really know if this is a solution, but I'm going to throw an idea out there that I might regret, and so I might pull it back later. I'm not entirely opposed to y'all using videos instead of writing the postings for the first one. If you are the first person to comment on a document, if you are the first person to take a crack at the conclusions, instead of writing it up, if you want to try to do it through a video, I'm cool with that. We can see how it works. And then the responses should be written up, because we don't want to have 2 hours of video to watch. We can read it faster. But for the first one, video might be cool. Anyway, that's my thing about AI, and that's like the dilemma. And let me tell you something else about AI. I'm not going to have a lot of sympathy for it. All right. If I think you used AI, I will make a comment that says something along the lines, I won't give you a grade, and I'll make a comment that says something along the lines of, sophomore on my end says this was written by ChatGPT. Would you like to provide some context? and you can respond or you cannot respond. Um, but we should all know, if we didn't know before this video, we all know after this video. Don't have AI writing this stuff. Along the same lines, take notes while you read. Take notes while you read, and you won't need AI. Not only because you'll have good stuff to talk about in your discussion posts, but when you walk into the LCSC testing center or wherever you take the exam, you'll have a stack of notes on everything. And you'll be able to crush the exam, right? And what you don't want to do is have AI writing all your discussion posts, show up at have me thinking you're some kind of star student. Ha ha ha, I fooled Professor Martin with ChatGPT. And you take the exam and you come out of it with a 22. Well, I know exactly what was going on, right? Anyway, you guys got questions about that? Hit me up during the office hours, but I think we know what's up. Stay off the ChatGPT. Just say no. All right. Let me know if you got any questions, and enjoy your historical studies.